Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. My name is Aparna Gray, and I'm the head of marketing for APAC here at Dotdigital in Australia. I will be joined by David Bruce, General Manager, CPaaS, and Amber Robertson, who is Principal Product Manager at Dotdigital. We will take you through the 5 channels you should really use to help you refresh and refine your marketing strategy this year. We will delve into those 5 channels, namely email, display ads, push notifications, live chat, and David and Amber will do a deep dive into SMS. I will also talk about the importance of engaging your audience at the right moment and also on the right channel. So, how do we go about restarting and refining our marketing? It's super tricky, I think, and it's really tricky these days because you can't really predict or anticipate those trends because really of the unpredictability of our current times. Brands were constantly having to adapt and overcome obstacles in their paths in the last couple of years. And if you've learned anything from the last few years with COVID, it's that plans can and will be ripped to shreds sometimes within minutes of really forming them because change is inevitable and something that happens really, really quickly. And if in 2022 you don't have a really strong online presence or the means to communicate with your audience in exactly that way that they want to be spoken to, and also where and when they want to be spoken to, you're really going to lose out on sales revenue. And really, I don't think any business can afford that at any time. Being agile is key. Agility in its basic definition is really the ability to change the direction of the body in an efficient and effective manner. It's the same thing, pretty much in business. If you're heading down a fruitful path, but it's looking like it's going to end in potentially impeding doom, you need to be able to really pivot or adapt. Businesses which lack adaptability will be and have been left paralyzed when faced with changing markets and environments. You either want it or you don't. And what I'm talking about is digital transformation. So it would seem as though Primark in the UK have not really wanted to adapt and aren't planning to do it, adapt in the future either, despite really losing billions of dollars in revenue during the lockdowns across Europe. They really just refuse to sell online. On the other hand, Stone Wood, which is a brewery, and they're client based in beautiful Byron Bay here in Australia, were prepared before COVID hit our shores and were really able to pivot to selling direct to consumer. And they also were able to create a loyalty beer club for their number one beer fans. And with the help of Dotdigital, they were able to see some fantastic revenue growth from their email marketing and their marketing communications across various channels, and also increase their fan base. And all of this was due to digital transformation. Give that QR code a scan if you want to read more about Stone and Wood. And also there's a nice little video that you can also have a view of. So how has Stone Wood able to really digitally transform so beautifully? So in order to really ensure your adaptability, you really need to not only have a tech stack behind you that can really empower you to be as nimble as you want to be, but your marketing also really needs to mirror the same agility you and your team display. That means having powerful data to help you segment and really serve up accurate data to deliver targeted and really accurate messages to your audience on the channels they will most likely want to hear from you. And this will also have the most significant impact at any given time. So right message at the right person at the right time is super essential. For me, email remains king, but consumer behavior really continues to change regularly. In fact, according to Channel Advisor, 42% of shoppers intend to shop online more regularly post-crisis. Regardless, we really still need to market to everyone. And the only way to stay front of mind is really complementing email with other channels. This will help you deliver those contextual messages your customers demand and really crave for, and really help you replicate that in-store experience for your customers, an experience that they're really used to. Means is not only do we need to access data when you want it, but communicating with your audience just as they like it is also essential. So, right person, right message, right time, and right channel is really important. This is nothing new, but is crucially important. Look, as I mentioned, more people are changing the way they interact with us, and our inboxes are more crowded than ever before. So these words honestly have never been more true. So we really need to switch up our strategy. The channels in your marketing ecosystem really need to supplement your website and support and engage customers across the entire life cycle. They really need to be working seamlessly in the background, so there are no disjoints really in terms of data and customer experiences. Employing a real holistic marketing strategy where your marketing channels and platforms are working really well together will definitely give you that competitive edge. Companies with omni-channel customer engagement strategies retain on average 89% of their customers compared to only 33% for companies with weak omni-channel strategies. So agility and omni-channel really equals greater customer experience, in my opinion. We'll run through the 5 channels you need to prioritize in 2022. Once again, those were email, display ads, push notifications, live chat, and SMS. Well, sorry, I lied. I said I was going to talk about 5 channels. I only am going to cover 4 because David and Amber will cover SMS. But with a 98% read rate and 90% of SMSs being read within 90 seconds, this is such a crucial channel. And I'm really looking forward to hearing David and Amber spend some time covering SMS. But let us kick off with email. Email is king with ROI of £42 for every £1. You can change that pound sterling sign to a dollar sign, but the numbers don't change. At a 4,200% ROI, email is one of the most effective marketing options available. And that's why we're still talking about it. And that is why email is the backbone of marketing strategies, no matter the industry or sector you operate in. But look, you know all that. What you need to do is to really perfect the email experience. Because it can be so effective, it really needs to be taken seriously. Whether you're new to the channel or you've been doing this for eons, you really need to maximize the potential offered by it, which means your strategy really needs to be geared for success and your data needs to be super organized. And here are some of those best practices to remember. Make your subject line compelling and to the point, and definitely optimize it. Stop sending emails from the do not reply or telling people not to reply. Get smarter with segmenting your data. Collect more, um, interrogate it more. Use a predictive modeling. What about RFM? Have you used the RFM modeling tool? And also, when was the last time you spoke to your audience and asked them what they really wanted to hear? Amp up your design and make sure your emails, at least in the least are mobile friendly. That is super, super essential. And when's the last time you offered a wish list? Use them to, send those price drop alerts. And for B2B, it could be used for feature requests, sending updates on status and services provided. Now, email alone is great, but you raise your level of sophistication when you really start to include other channels to raise the level of personalization. Speaking of personalization, when it is done right, it can drive exceptional customer experiences that really generate some fantastic revenue. Remarketing complements other personalizable channels such as email because it really extends the journey beyond the realms of just inbox. The idea is to really keep relevant products and services in front of mind, engage the user's interests from a really high intent action like browsing on your website. We've all been there. We've all been there where we are looking at something at a website, left the page, maybe you've got an abandoned cart email. After opening the email, you receive a nudge days later because you've not yet redeemed the offer in the email, but you've continued to browse. The power of behavioral data is that really the ability to populate ads based on browse activities. Ads, combined with email or push can work really well together to drive those sales. Just make sure your data is in order and, you don't prompt a customer that bought a toaster yesterday to buy another one today. We only need one toaster in the household mostly. Look, it's the same principle as when I'm researching loyalty or reward software for clients. And I head to YouTube and I see skyscraper ads for the same software, or even get played a 30 clip video before I get to watch a recap of the latest Marvel movie my son's been raving about. This is universal whether you fall into e-commerce or D2C, B2B, or even the not-for-profit bucket. But why is it important? This is because if you retarget your customers on multiple channels, this really increases the number of opportunities for customers to convert. It's pretty simple. And we know that visitors who are retargeted with display ads are 70 times more likely to convert. And also, driving brand awareness and really improving your brand image. And this is a very important factor as well that you should be doing across the customer journey, for your brand. And it's also, remember, it's not just for new visitors interacting with your brands, it's also for, your customers as well. It's equally important to keep that brand image for them. So let me quickly go through the three segments that you can target. Behavioral segments, when segmenting based on browsing behavior, like I've just discussed, it's really vital to determine interested from disinterested visitors. And this is usually clear based on how much time they spend on your site. So, for example, if they bounce immediately, maybe they're not interested and they'll be harder to convert. The next one is time-based segments. So firstly, you need to really filter out the shorter visits amongst your customers and then use your data to discover the difference between browsing and consideration. This will really help you identify which type of campaign to serve up. If your customer journey is longer because maybe you're a B2B brand or you're selling, those super high ticket items, you may want to really extend the duration of your campaign. You can also amend the frequency which with the shoppers see your ads. That is a really easy strategy to use as well. And finally, existing customer segments. Targeting existing contacts can really yield some great results. By segmenting this audience according to RFM personas, I think I mentioned those before as well, or contact scoring, you can really establish the inactive from those big spenders. Inactive and lapsed customers are perfect for a super targeted win back campaign. You can also use this segment to really align your retargeting ads with your marketing campaigns. Okay, let's chat a little bit about push notifications. So bringing your storefront to the forefront of your customer screens makes business sense. The great thing about push is that you're not competing with other messages like your emails in an inbox. Users will click on your message when it pops up and they're taken directly to your app and engage with your brand and your brand alone. This is a fantastic strategy. But urge your customers to download your app by communicating its benefits via email or SMS. Buyers that have your app really tend to engage and buy more. Plus, can be really targeted more effectively with those relevant marketing communications. Also, there's a whole, psychology of push notifications and changing user behavior, which I really don't have time to go into, but to quickly surmise. An external trigger is a cue in the user's environment that really provides information of what to do next. A button telling the user to click here, tweet this, download this, or play this are examples of an external trigger. An internal trigger, on the other hand, really relies upon association in the user's mind to prompt actions. So the most frequent internal triggers are emotions. So when, for example, I miss my family in India, I search Facebook for pictures of our times together or latest updates that have come in from Mumbai. And that is what is called an internal trigger. Once again, this strategy push, this isn't really solely for B2C. Apps aren't always long-term options. We had an app for our summit in London. It was the best way to communicate with our customers throughout the day, but that's not something that we're looking to do all the time, 365 days a year, but it really serves a purpose for a specific campaign or a task. Right, onto live chat. So in the real world, not just the non-COVID world, you can't always be right in front of your customers. That's impossible. That's why, we've been really talking about all these other channels. You really need them to kind of make up for the fact that you can't be right there. And live chat really helps with this, and it really sometimes provides that human touch by reopening the doors to personal customer service online. According to Forrester, there is a 10% increase in the AOV, or the average order value, when reviewing the sales from customers who engaged in chat before making a purchase versus than those that did not use chat. So why are conversion rates so high when live chat is involved? I'm going to give you 6 reasons. So firstly, it's great for collecting marketing data, which really helps to build, the marketing ecosystem that we are all in. Next, for sales, it really helps usher them along, the really important sales funnel and ultimately boost those sales numbers as well. For customer support, it helps solve queries then and there. Live chat agents can often support multiple customers at the same time. And if their query can't be solved on chat, it can always be escalated into email or even a phone call. It is less expensive. Using live chat is often cheaper than answering phone calls from consumers or responding to numerous emails. In fact, I believe a Forrester study suggests that a live chat session is about 20% to 50% cheaper than a phone call. And the minimized resolution time is really the main reason that for this cost reduction. It also helps you build stronger relationships quicker. Empathy is crucial, and live chat is a personal, non-intrusive form of contact. You'll be able to connect better with your customers and really build their trust, and that trust will fuel your business over time for years to come. And finally, it also helps boost credibility. Your visitors will instantly know that there is a real person on the other side, ready to help them with any moment on any query. Well, of course, unless it's a bot, then, that's a different matter. So if you're using live chat, for the first time, then reach out and really start to tell people about it with all these channels, really, that we've been talking about. Highlight all the ways your customers can, get hold of you, so they can choose the channel that essentially works for them. Companies should constantly focus on customer engagement, giving what customers want and what they need, And that's exactly what one of our clients has done with live chat. So this is an example from an Australian skincare and beauty manufacturer you would have heard of, Jolique. So the company is using their chat functionalities to really help customers find the best product, give advice or really follow up on a query. Having a real life beauty expert chat online with customers really enables them to kind of understand their customers' needs and cater to them accordingly. And this, just chat functionality was so crucial during the Australian COVID-19 lockdowns, where retail stores were closed months on end. And also, specifically for the beauty industry, chat is really important when buying things online, because buying beauty products can be a very personal thing, which maybe sometimes requires a lot of advice. So, mastering a suite of channels like anything else in marketing takes time, effort, and lots of patience. So the key is really using data to connect those touch points so that the customer's experience is as smooth and seamless as possible. So before I sign off, let me do a quick summary. Email gives you, ROI you can always rely on. Display ads is that relevancy channel that really keeps on giving for a really long period of time. Push notifications, be sure to use this channel to really delight and engage your biggest fans and really capture their attention. Of course, live chat is a great way to really reopen the door to that personal customer service online. And finally, SMS. It's really your first step on your omni-channel journey. So let me now hand over to David and Amber, who will deep dive into the SMS opportunity. Over to you, David and Amber. Thank you all.
Thanks, Aparna. Some really great points covered there. Okay, so the next part of today's Live will be shared between myself and Amber, and we'll be going into a little more detail about SMS as one of those 5 channels that Aparna's been talking about today. Quick introduction, my name is David Bruce. I've spent the last 10 years at Dotdigital working with our clients and partners to help them get the most out of SMS. Hopefully this section will provide you with a few ideas and give you some information on how SMS can add value to your business and customer engagement strategy. So, quick agenda. We're going to start with a bit of history around SMS. Then we're going to ask you to think about what's on your phone, so who sends you text messages. Then I'm going to do a little bit about some stats and facts. We're going to do a couple of use cases before I hand over to Amber. So, I'm going to start off with a little bit of history. The first SMS was sent on December the 3rd in 1992. So as a channel for communication, it's been around for around about 30 years. But it really didn't take off until 1999, when SMS could only be sent between people on the same network. But in 1999, actually the networks allowed SMS to be sent between people on the same network. So it started really taking off at that point. And by 2000, people were actually sending on average about 35 text messages per day. And they were doing it on devices like this. So a bit of a blast from the past. I'm sure a lot of you will recognize some of those phones. And while Nokia's 7650 back in 2002 was thought of as the first smartphone, it really wasn't until the iPhone 2G, or the iPhone original, as it's also known, in 2007, that we started seeing things become a lot newer, a lot more fresher, a lot more exciting. If you fast forward now to last year, 2021, on average, per day globally, we're sending around about 23 billion text messages every day. So quite an enormous amount. So moving on, something I like to do when I speak to customers, something I do quite a lot, and when I talk to them about the power of SMS, is to get them to look at their own phones. So if you've got yours to hand now, it's probably worth just opening up and having a quick look at your text messages. It helps people start to really appreciate the importance of some of the messages that they receive. And it helps them to visualize how their own business could potentially use SMS to enhance their customer engagement. So it's what I've done. Next couple of slides, we'll look at some recent examples from my own phone to show you what I mean. The first one that you can see on screen, it's quite topical. It was in relation to the recent storms in the UK. So my home insurance company sent me a text, and it had a URL in there that you can see. And you click on that URL and it gives me some advice about securing my home in high winds and heavy rain. And actually, when I mentioned this earlier in the week, I spoke to a partner and she said in Australia, the CFA, which is the Country Fire Authority in the state of Victoria, she says that they use SMS a lot to warn people about bushfires. And actually in the UK, Dotdigital works with both the Met Office and Floodline on similar projects to inform customers about the dangers and risks of natural disasters. So I thought that was quite a relevant one to kind of bring up and share with you. A couple of other things that I've received text messages about recently. Like a lot of people, I'm spending a lot more time at home. I'm working a lot more from home. And this company I got a text message from is a reminder of an appointment to have some car tires fitted on my car. But rather than having to take them somewhere, they were doing it on my drive, which was great. So this was a fantastic opportunity for SMS to be used to remind me about the appointment. But another great thing I wanted to bring up here is within the message, they say all the information you need is in your order confirmation email. So it's actually a great example of SMS and email working hand in hand. The next one you can see that's on my phone, and I get these quite a lot, is actually from Dotdigital. I think it's really important as a business that offers SMS as a service is to actually use SMS as well. And not only as a customer, you can sign up to receive SMS alerts to give you updates about platform upgrades, routine maintenance, but actually we use it to send one-time passcodes as well to access the platform, but also to reset passwords. So I thought I'd share that one with you. And finally, in this little section, this is one from Petplan. That's a pet insurance company in the UK. Yes, we got a lockdown dog, and there he is. So we got a lockdown dog, but what we didn't know about him is that he liked to eat socks, and actually that eating socks is very, very bad for him. And this is a copy that you can see, copy of the message on screen that we received from the insurance company to say that they received my insurance claim for an operation to remove a sock, and it was being processed. That's the claim, that is not the sock. So as you can see, it's quite a stressful time, but it's great to get these reassuring messages from the insurance company. I'm sure when you look through your own phones, and hopefully you've had a chance to do that, you'll see a mixture of alerts, reminders, some marketing messages in there as well from the brands that you engage with. And if nothing else, I think it'll highlight the continued importance of SMS as a channel, and maybe start getting you to think about how your own business could potentially adopt the use of SMS in that customer strategy. So moving on, I talked at the start that SMS has been around for 30 years. So why is it still so popular? It's really no wonder when you look at some of the stats. It has a 98% read rate, 90% of SMS get read within 90 seconds. On average, people look at their smartphone about 150 times per day. So SMS gives you a really clear, quick, and undisrupted path onto someone's phone. Obviously, you don't need internet connection either, so it's a really good, genuine tool. There is a lot of truth in the fact that SMS has declined in person-to-person messaging, and that's because of our increased use of things like Facebook Messenger, but more importantly, I think WhatsApp as well. However, what we're seeing as a business at Dotdigital is we're seeing an opposite to that when it comes to businesses using SMS to engage with customers. Last year, from 2020 to 2021, we saw an increase in 12% of SMS usage by Dotdigital customers. But to dwarf all of that, last year for Black Friday in November, Cyber Monday, we saw a huge amount of growth from 2020 to 2021. And actually, it was a 40% increase in SMS usage over those 2 years. So it's absolutely growing. I think it's really important to kind of highlight that point. Finally, before I move on and pass over to Amber, I just wanted to have a look at a couple of case studies, the clients and customers that are using Dotdigital and how we support them. The first is a school to parent communication software platform that we've worked with for a number of years, and are the largest school to parent communications platform in the UK. They service 12,500 schools, and they send over 15 million text messages every month. Communications between schools and parents has always been important. It helps to build that relationship between the school and the parents, even more so during the pandemic, when schools opening was so changeable, whether they were open or closed. So that communication had to be always on. But pre-pandemic and once again now, you can see that communication is still just as crucial. If I highlight a couple of the messages that, again, this is taken from my phone from my children's school. You know, we deliver these messages on behalf of this company via our API. It's important updates from the head teacher, reminders about non-uniform days, and the all-important school closure. And this was because of the wind. Schools need to trust that the messages that they send are A, going to get through to the parent, but B, more importantly, they're going to get through to the parent in a really timely and quick manner, which is why, due to our high speed and really robust infrastructure that we've got in place, we're able to deliver very quickly, and that's why we're trusted by this provider. The second and final use case that I wanted to talk to you about was the way that SMS is used to confirm smart meter installations. So we work with one of the big 6 energy providers. We help them continue to fulfill their installation objectives during and after lockdown. We've supported this client for a number of years, and during lockdown, you can see on screen there's a link to a URL. Messages now encourage people to download the app so they can manage their account online, which is fantastic. But during the pandemic and lockdown, the URL that they used was actually driving people to a video to show them how their engineers, when they turned up, would follow strict government guidelines about coming into the house, about being secure, etc. So a really great use case. And again, delivery is so essential. We're passing on really critical information, and I think one of the really exciting things here is actually the use of URLs within there to either adopt an app or watch a video. So it's really good use case. I'm going to pass over to Amber now. All I've wanted to say before I go is thanks very much for listening. I hope you've learned something. I'm going to pass over to Amber now. She's going to look a little bit more about kind of SMS, but more the marketing focus. So thanks very much.
Thanks, David. Hi, everybody. Let me get my slides organized. Oh, here we go. Great. So as David said, I'm going to talk to you about SMS for marketing. David's taken us through some really interesting transactional examples. So now we'll look at marketing. And I think the biggest question that we get at Dotdigital is, when should I use SMS for marketing? And what we say is that SMS is best used a little bit more sparingly than email, and it's really good for special occasions. So David was talking about Black Friday, and that's a really good example, because if you think about, personally how many emails you get on Black Friday these days, we all get a whole heap of emails. They're sort of starting a week beforehand now, sometimes like even sort of a month beforehand. So we're sort of inundated with emails, and they are a really good marketing tool. But SMS can be really great in addition to really sort of cut through the noise and really get in touch with your customers via a channel that is not as inundated at the moment. So yeah, special occasions are great for SMS. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Boxing Day, Singles Day, Mother's Day, Chinese New Year, you name it. If it's a special occasion and you've got a campaign around it, SMS would be a really good tool to include in your marketing. Same for public holidays, bank holidays, national holidays, events. SMS is really good for marketing events, but also during events, it's a really good way to make contact with people. They're not going to be checking the email when they're at an event, so SMS is a really good tool for that. And competitions are really good as well. A lot of our customers use like text to join competitions it's a really good way also to get people to sign up and give you their mobile number, so then you can use that number, obviously with permission, to market to them in the future. So in terms of when you should use SMS, use SMS when you want to cut through the noise and get a little bit of alone time with your customers or clients or prospects or donors. And why would you want to do that? Email inboxes can get really cluttered, and so SMS is a really good time to get a little bit more airtime with your customers, as I was saying before. And as an example of that, this screenshot is actually my inbox. This is very embarrassing, but I will embarrass myself for a good cause to show you how useful SMS can be. Yeah, I have 26,000 plus emails. I'm definitely not a zero inbox email person. But I don't think, okay, maybe not as many people have as many as this, but many of us are like this. We have a lot of emails coming through, and it can get a little bit overwhelming. But then if I think about my SMS inbox and how many SMS I have in there that are unopened, zero. So I am good. I am at zero inbox opening with my SMS. So SMS is a really good way to touch base with people when there's not so much clutter and noise around. And I've got a really good example of that for you. So I give blood with the NHS, and they send me emails to encourage me to book my next appointment. So again, I'm embarrassing myself, but for a good cause. You can see this is a real email that I got from the NHS about asking me if I would sign up to donate again if I'd book my next appointment. And you can see I did open the email, but you can see how much is going on in my inbox at the time. And I opened it, but I didn't actually follow through with their call to action to book my next appointment. I just got distracted. I had every intention to do so, but you can see there's a lot going on there. I've got I've got all birds being shipped to me. There's other things that are exciting that's happening in the inbox. And so I sort of didn't have my full attention on what the call to action was here. But then something else NHS do is they send me text messages with that same call to action, book your next appointment. And you can see the difference here. It's just me, it's my phone, it's a text message. There's no other brands vying for my attention. There's no distractions. And I did book from this. This is a real text message I got. I clicked through and I booked. So in this example, SMS was the channel that prompted me to follow through with the call to action. So it's a really successful channel for that. And, I'm using the NHS as an example, but you might be able to tell from my accent that I'm Australian. It's exactly the same. I used to give blood at home. It's exactly the same. They use text messages to communicate with you as a blood donor. And anywhere, anyone probably watching this around the world that gives blood, you're probably nodding along, because that's a common, it's common to keep people up to date with blood donation with SMS, and it's a really effective tool for that. So, I hope that sort of shows that SMS is a really good chance to get into people's personal lives with kind of out all that clutter of email, but only when they want you to. As I said, you still need to use it sparingly, and email still plays a really important part. Always you still want to be sending emails, but SMS can be a really nice chance, a nice addition to add in, and that kind of personal touch. So who should use SMS for marketing? The short answer is everybody. It works really well for B2C. It works really well for B2B. It works well for retail, education, charities, hospitality, sports, and travel, just to name a few. And a really good example I've got here is, again, this is a real text message that was sent to me. I think I was off to, don't be jealous, I think I was off to Santorini, and I was at the airport. I can't remember which airport, one of the ones in London. And I got this message sort of a couple of hours before we were due to fly. So we were already at the airport. And if you think about this example, it's British Airways, and they're sending me a text message to say you might be able to upgrade today. So they, it's a good chance for them to kind of upsell me. And if you think about going through an airport, going through security, etc., you're not going to be checking your emails, or certainly I aren't. So this is a really good way, again, to cut through the noise, to get me when they know that I'm going to be busy, and to capture my attention. I don't think I upgraded. It's a little bit too of a short flight, but I was tempted. So I think that's another really great example where SMS worked better to capture my attention with the call to action than email did. And another really good example, Action for Children, is a customer of ours, and they're a UK charity which protects and supports children and young people in the UK. So in 2020, like, you know, so many of us, so many things were cancelled. They were forced to cancel all their in-person fundraising events, and obviously for many charities, in-person events is how they raise most of their money. So what they needed to do was pivot really quickly to create a brand new event that was a celebrity-led virtual sleep out. And so they sort of created this all on the fly. And SMS played a really key role in that. So they used SMS to confirm event registration, deliver key announcements quickly, provide reminders on the event night, and they used it to drive donations at key moments as well. And again, you know, this is a really good example where SMS was the perfect channel for this. It's the only channel that they could really use to keep up to date with how quickly everything was moving. Remember, they sort of, you know, they had to pivot and really do this really quickly. And, you know, when you're a marketer, sending out emails, it takes time. You've got to put them together. You might have to go through approval processes. SMS, you can, you know, really quickly get really important messages out there without sort of all that overhead of an email. And simplicity is a part of that. So, you know, SMS, it's great. It doesn't have any design requirements. It's not, you're not spending ages thinking about design. You can just sort of, you know, get that message out there. It's got really high read rates. As we said, you know, David's talked about, I've talked about it, all of us have no unread SMS in our inboxes. So it was really good for Action for Children, for competitions, prize incentive, celebrity announcements, you know, what celebrity is participating. And it was a really good way for them to get those messages out quickly and efficiently. And it worked really well for them. So that event, again, created on the fly when everything was changing. They had more than 4,500 people that took part in the event, and they raised over £300,000, which is really amazing. Of course, SMS played a really big key role in that. They had approximately 30% of participants opted to receive SMS communications, and SMS achieved a click-to-delivered rate, of around 25%, and directly contributed to some of those funds raised. So the event wouldn't have been as successful without SMS. Of course, they used other channels, they used email, etc. But SMS was a really key part and really contributed to the success of that event. And another example, I've got an Aussie example here, Accolade Wines. They're the 5th largest wine company in the world. And I spoke a little bit earlier about how SMS can be really good for special occasions. And in this case, they used it for Australia Day. So as part of a kind of wider Australia Day campaign, they sent out an SMS to customers. It had a really nice, simple call to action. Spend $100 for Australia Day and get a discount applied at checkout. They had shortened and tracked links, which meant that they could track, you know, who was clicking on the track interaction with that. And they were able to, because of that tracking as well, which is really important when you're using SMS, they were able to link 15% of the total gross sales of revenue generated during that campaign to SMS. So think about that. That's, you know, that's kind of, if they hadn't used SMS, that's 15% less revenue. So it's a really, really important channel. And if you are not using SMS, you should really start thinking about how you can experiment and how you can make it work for you. So the key takeaways from me are use SMS for special occasions. I think, you know, made that clear. As Australia Day, Black Friday, Singles Day, Chinese New Year, etc. There's always an event where, you know, you can use SMS to highlight whatever you're doing with those call to actions. Use SMS when you need to cut through the noise. And we've, you know, really highlighted here the difference. Again, email is really important. Of course it is, but SMS can provide a really nice secondary channel to really cut through that noise and to sort of touch base with customers that may not have engaged with your emails. Or just highlight certain things to them. Think about when SMS will be the most effective channel. As you know, I've said multiple times throughout this, yet use it sparingly. Some brands send me an email every day or two. I've signed up to some lists, you know, where I get a couple of emails every day. I wouldn't want to get a couple of SMS every day. So think about, when it's most effective and when it's going to be really useful and powerful. And that kind of leads on to my last point of you should make SMS your special power. The last example, we saw 15% extra revenue from SMS alone. Who's going to say no to that? So that is it from me. Thanks, Aparna and David, for joining me to present this. Hopefully, everybody watching, you've enjoyed this. If you want to talk to us more, we've got these QR codes and URLs on the screen, so you can contact us or you can get a free platform tour with the bottom QR. So yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, thanks.